Okay, so we pick back up, having put down whatever entity was trapped in that ruby. You guys have found yourselves face to face with a fairly anachronistic halfling. I think you guys were just getting to know each other where we left off. But I think there's going to be some explaining needing to be done here, probably to clear the air a little bit. You noticed that when you were showing the halfling the kind of the illusion of modern day eventide, the look on his face indicated that he's kind of coming to terms with his situation. But it's probably not going to be an easy process.
So, now that you're unfrozen from time, have any plans?
I'm just here to see what happens. I think. I want money. That was my only way out of this.
Well,
Out
the
of
good
what?
news is time might have helped that a little bit, no?
I mean, I hope so. Maybe things will get better now.
You need out of something. What is it?
I
Guessing
owed
the man
someone a
was in
lot of
debt.
money.
Yeah.
I owed someone a lot of money. That's why I came for this gem. That's why I needed it.
Was the person you owed money to a gnome?
No, he wasn't a gnome.
Oh, he's probably
He was-
dead by now then.
Well, that's good news now then.
What's his
I mean-
name, just before we give you too much hope?
He never gave me a name.
Oh,
He was strange like that. He sent people to me.
In that case, you're probably in good news. And he's
Oh,
probably dead.
I'm glad to hear that. That's a relief.
So, as we said, we can help you get out of here at least and back to civilization.
I mean, that'd be greatly appreciated, but don't be trying no funny business.
No.
Uh,
As long as you don't mean us any trickery or harm, then we'll get you out of here.
Triss is going to look suspiciously interested in a wall as Ruland's promising that.
I imagine there's probably a little bit of whistling there just to add to the effect.
If I could whistle, I would.
We have a ship away to the southeast that's waiting to take us back south across the water. I mean, Eventide is probably not the safest place for you to go right now. So, if that was your plan, I think maybe you should rethink it.
What's happening in Eventide?
Any bitty teeny weeny war?
Dwarves versus humans.
The dwarves are winning.
The age-old kind of story.
So, Labul, back in your time, the two nations were still fairly young, and the occasional border squabble and raiding party wasn't unheard of. But for the most part, the two nations kind of just left each other largely alone. So, like the concept of large scale war at that point was still a kind of a far off concept. Didn't really happen. Just as I said, kind of small scale incursions now and again.
How was the wildlife back in your time?
What do you mean by that? Wildlife was wildlife.
How bitey was it?
I mean, not terribly bitey unless provoked.
Was there a
I mean,
lot of it?
normal wildlife. There was a bit of it. Are you trying to say there's more now?
Yeah,
Um,
substantially more.
There's a few more, a few extinct species popping up all over the place, and they're a lot bigger and more savage.
In fact, that's kind of what we do mostly. Is
Is
people pay us to take care of those kind of problems.
so? Is that why you're here?
Not quite. This is something of a holy site, and our friend here, Braxton, was investigating.
Oh yeah, that's why we're here.
He
And we
stumbled
came-
across this vault by chance, pretty much. We didn't know it was here.
And also, there was the whole coming to save Torrik, who apparently didn't need saving. Torrik.
That's another story, really. But as I said, we can get you out of here, and there's a fair journey to go. I'm sure we can discuss how we can help you, maybe.
Crispy, how do LeBeau's sort of clothes look? We're in some pretty uninhabitable terrain. I don't
So,
want to come outside and freeze him to death.
so yeah, you saw that the kind of armor styling was quite old-fashioned, and that's kind of the case as well when it comes to his survival gear. Currently, it's in his pack, but I mean, really, it's still largely fur, in a similar manner to the way your guys' survival suits are kind of fur-based, just needing to be thick more than particularly well sewn to do its job. So it looks like it'll hold up to the weather. It's
No
got
freezing
plenty
to death.
of pile in it. Yeah. Yes, you imagine that on his way up north, he also made plans before setting off on his expedition. So provisioning being amongst those.
Well then, probably best not to dally. We need to move, don't we?
If we want to catch the boat back, yeah, absolutely. Let's get going. Havel, are you able to rustle us up a feathered ride?
Well, they weren't feathered last time, were they?
No, but I think that didn't work in our favour.
That went fine. What are
Apart
you on
from
about?
Rulin.
Yeah, but it's only rule of night.
Problem with pointy ears, more prone to frostbite.
Sucks to be him. Pretty sure I still have a level 3 left. So D&D Beyond's not loading properly. Yeah, I definitely do have a third level left. So yeah, I guess I'll... How long will it take to get there? To get to the water from where we are?
From where you
left the
are, back to where you left the boat, you're probably looking about a 6-7 hour flight if you go as the crow flies, depending on weather conditions.
Fuck's sake, I'm gonna have to use the ring. Alright then, I'll conjure up the bats again.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get some like slightly fluffier bats? Like the little cute ones.
Right,
Just a
okay.
nice little-
Just for Rulin.
Just for Rulin, we'll get you some of those.
Does an owl? They come fluffy. Or feathery.
That's a good point. Giant owls were on the list, weren't they?
Yeah.
If you get an older bat, maybe it'll have longer fur.
I mean, we could just see if there are giant ducks in D&D 5th edition.
They don't have a great record for flying long distances, though, do they? Aren't you better with geese?
Yeah, but geese are dicks, so like.
I'm surprised you're not all
Don't
over
summon one
that.
of those. They
I
can
mean,
break
they'll be
your
under
arm.
your control. So.
I'll say those just with normal
Ah,
ones.
yeah, good point.
Imagine what a
Geese are like the one animal when he conjures them, he can't control them.
yeah.
um, I suppose owls might not be the worst idea. So yeah, okay, we'll go for owls because they're feathery, so that might help a little bit. I am gonna have to use the ring because I am gonna have to swap the duration. So let me roll you a d20. And I'm not feeling lucky right now. 12.
12. Where are we? You are good. You have no ill effect or positive effect from a 12.
Oh.
Ooh. Maybe I am lucky.
Something's gonna pop up later. Like you'll go to eat a piece of food or something, and it'll be like, oh, by the way.
It explodes like a hand
On second
grenade.
thoughts. He would have just ended it. No ill or no negative or positive effects. For now.
Yeah.
Just a distinctly neutral one.
Or one of those, you don't perceive any change. It's like, okay.
Brilliant.
Okay, so Havel, you conjure these owls. Enough for each to have a rider. And as you guys mount up, the difference you can feel immediately. These owls, the kind of feathers on their backs, offer a bit of a reprieve from the biting wind. The kind of large surfaces of them deflects most of it over you as you kind of get as close to the owl's back as you can. So, Aval, looking out, you can see that southeast looks to be fairly clear. The sky has a few clouds. You're probably looking at maybe 2, 3 doctors, but the wind is. Oh yeah, Guy, that's yeah. The wind is favourable. The conditions are pretty good. You're not getting any kind of lashing one way or the other. So you got to take off into the night. Obviously, the rest of you have done this before. Nabul, this is probably your first experience of flight, and it's an equal mixture of exhilaration and terror as you guys fly down. Just these mountains below falling away. You can't help but notice the kind of jagged rocks still look particularly hard from up here. But yes, you hunker down into the feathers and try your best not to think too hard about letting go. Okay, so you guys keep in formation as you fly. Havel leads you every now and again, looking up to kind of check the stars for some positioning. As you cross one of the larger mountain ranges, the coast comes into vision. The sky starts to get a bit darker. The wind picks up a little bit, but the owls are fairly robust flyers. They can handle it, but it does slow your process down a little bit. But despite the winds, the conditions don't get much worse. The owls manage to take you pretty much all the way down to the cliffs on the coast, where you guys had arranged to rendezvous with the ship's boat. So, Havel, just before the owls are due to expire, you guys touch down, and by now it's it's starting to lighten up a little bit. The sun is inching its way over the horizon. As you look out, you can see anchors a little way out in the bay. The silhouette of a familiar vessel, the LaSalle that you came here on.
It is a sight for sore eyes.
I never thought I'd be so glad to see a bloody boat.
So this is what you came in on. Yes, I think this will do nicely. Let's just hope nothing follows us.
So, again, the bull looking out, you can see that this ship is, substantially larger than the vessel you and your expedition managed to arrive on. The construction is significantly sleeker. You notice that this vessel has a kind of an elevated fore and aft and quite a large mast, which is again slightly different from the small square-rigged and oar-propelled vessel you and your fellows had come north in. Looks like they clearly, have some influence to have a warship of such size.
Who exactly are you guys? How have you got such a thing?
We don't.
We called in a favour and spent quite a bit of money, as I recall. Actually,
How
maybe
much?
there was no favours. Maybe it was just money.
Money.
How can someone have this much money to afford such a magnificent thing?
So this is kind of perplexing to the rest of you. You know the LaSalle was a fairly small ship in the Scarpaland harbour. Definitely not a man of war for sure. The a single mast being typical for a small merchant clipper perhaps, but you realise that obviously for a man accustomed to the ships of his time, this is probably a significant step forward in naval architecture.
This is really a pretty average kind of ship in this day and age. So,
Average?
well, maybe even less than.
This is the biggest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, well, you're gonna have quite a sight when we dock.
The world out there might be a bit of a learning curve.
Yeah. And just wait till you see Bayford. Okay. Let's get back on board and take off. We haven't really discussed where we're going to go next. Back to Cairnwood. Come up with a new plan.
Yeah. Back to Cairnwood. Maybe via the Bastion of Nurna. Did you have stuff to take back to them, Braxton?
Oh yeah.
Yes, I do. If I could drop these off, it would be a small burden off my shoulders.
We could probably convince the captain to make way there. Perhaps a bit of extra coin, maybe.
Sounds good.
Makes me nervous heading out towards the open water, but we need to get there somehow, I guess. Casually,
Well,
just don't explain any further while we're in
hmm.
the bull's presence.
Okay, so you guys obviously chatting to yourself. Torek is busy using a signal mirror to kind of get the attention of the ship, and before too long, you see a small launch growing its way over to the shore. About 10 minutes later, this little vessel beaches, and the executive officer and a couple of sailors kind of pulled up to the beach, and they bit of a quizzical look at the two additional members. But they shrug and get you all sat so as the weight to be fairly evenly distributed. And they begin kind of rowing you back towards the Lascelles. Or what be up north? Tell us, landlubbers. The exile, you can see that he's a curious man. Clearly the tales from such unexplored wastes would be something he'd look forward to retelling in taverns in the future.
A lot of interesting things. Turns out there's temples and hidden cities way up
And
there.
me.
Ruins.
And Torix, yeah.
There was this giant beast that had two huge fangs that came down from its mouth like sabers almost. And it's a saber tooth, maybe.
Could I do a roll to see if I could identify what beast that is from the description?
Yeah, sure. Roll me a nature.
Yes.
It seems that unless Roland is being particularly tall with his tales, he is describing the male of the Baryoth majoris species.
Currently extinct?
As far as anybody knows, they're not very observed, seeing as their habitat is so far from civilization.
Are you telling me you saw Baroth majoris? A large male one by the sounds of it.
That's what its name is. I didn't really
Yeah,
stop to ask.
Torik's going to take out his little journal and he's going to go, what colour was its fur? Does it have fur?
I think
Did it
Havel
have
probably
feathers?
got a closer look at it.
Damn it! I knew it. Could have been
Havel will
jealous.
describe what it looks like, Crispy.
So, in his gruff but roguelike, lovable way, Havel tells you just about everything you want to know about his harrowing ordeal with the Baryoth. Noting particularly the bright white hue of its fur, the resilience of the kind of enamel that makes up its tooth and nail, the apparent ease at which they can traverse large leaps in a very short space of time. All fascinating traits. Very hard to gain all of this information from fossils and old rumors.
Indeed, especially when it comes to outwardly appearances. We have no idea if that creature even had fur to begin with or feathers. It's been a point of contention at the academy for a while. This is going to be revolutionary and settle a few bets. Sorry. Didn't mean to be insensitive looking at our new member.
Yeah. Oh, and
Oh, don't
giant
forget about the
white,
dragon.
giant
Yeah.
white dragon. Yeah, that as well.
I think I'll be taking me chances with the sea.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, have you seen anything unusual going on with the sea of late?
She be a fickle mistress, the ocean. As changing as a maiden's heart. One day we're scraping ice off the masts, the other we're out basking in the sun.
How about unusual beasties?
Nay, beasties.
Super.
Good to hear.
If we want information like that, maybe it's best if we ask a fishing vessel once we're home, because they may have had something in their nets.
I feel there are some questions that I'm quite happy to have a vague and
Incomplete answer to.
yeah. I think I can go on the rest of my life never having a full answer to that.
That actually, on retrospect, yes, I'm feeling what you feel, because I feel that, hey, Crispy, I want to investigate the Kraken. It's just going to be heard as Crispy. TPK.
Yep. That would be a quick
Um,
session. Don't even need to complete it. We know how it would end.
Okay, so you guys, as you're describing this, the launch makes its way up to the hull of the vessel. And there's a rope kind of cargo net let down over the side, which you're able to clamber up on deck with. You can see that the captain has the crew busy with various mallets and chisels, just chipping off any the larger ice deposits on any of the more critical components like the anchor capstans. But he quickly makes his way over and kind of helps a few of you up over railings off the nets before kind of welcoming you back aboard. Christ, you look like you've been through a fair bit. I must say, we were starting to wonder whether you'd be back at all. You've suddenly cut it quite fine.
We did get rather involved with a few unexpected snags.
Yes, I imagine the wastes are prone to that kind of thing. He kind of looks down and obviously notices the two smaller passengers that he now has on board. And who might you two be? I take it they're friends of yours?
Yes? Well, one of them's the reason we came up. This is Torek. And we found another friend during one of the aforementioned snags, and this is Labul.
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Likewise, Master Halfling. He extends a hand down and nods it to you.
Labu shakes his hands.
Well, we certainly can accommodate them. I'll have the men sling some hammocks for them below deck, but I must say, with 2 additional mouths to feed, and the fact we've been here already, our provisions are probably going to have to be stretched a little further than I had hoped. But with good wind behind us, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Now, me and my crew here, we're ready to sail. So make yourselves comfortable. See to whatever it is you need. We will be heading south just as soon as I get that launch back aboard. So he again kind of nods you guys kind of bids you to take a look at the accommodation. To if you haven't been aboard yet, but then very quickly begins overseeing preparations to set sail. So back aboard, you guys obviously have a free run of the ship so long as you don't interfere too much with the crew's tasks and duties. And as you make your way below deck, you can see that there are still hammocks set out for all of you.
That hammock looks pretty inviting right now for Braxton.
I second that feeling.
So the kind of all-invasive chill of the air has managed to pervade its way into the depths of ship 2, but out of the wind, it's not so bad. So you kind of climb into your hammock and take the fur cloaks and use them as a blanket, and get your heads down. So everybody, take a long rest.
Woohoo!
I was hoping to do some crafting. Will that interfere with my long rest?
No. I mean, you'll have time on your voyage.
I only have like a half day/day to finish this this item I'm working on, so it'd be nice to round it off.
Sure. So you guys get your heads down while the captain gets the ship underway.
Quick question for you, Crispy. Sorry. Do
uh-huh.
I reset the maximum HP?
Yeah. So long rest, you get any health spell slots, any spent hit die back as well.
Half your hit dice, isn't it?
If you're on D&D, Beyond, there is a long rest
Yeah,
button.
yeah, I've done it. I added 6 box.
Yeah.
Isn't it half of the hit dice you get back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Use half.
Yeah, it is. But to be honest, I think you'd spend any anyway, so it's not particularly important just yet. At least Lewis hasn't spent any. Okay, cool. So yeah, you guys get your heads down, kind of sleep through the day. It's obviously a welcome relief. The last week has been a fairly challenging experience for most of you who are not all too familiar with such hostile climes. And as such, most of you don't wake until supper time, where the crew is forthcoming with their rations, despite the fact that the captain said things might get a little strained. You're able to get your fill on hardtack and salted vegetables. Obviously not anywhere near gourmet quality, but are nutritious, and they will last on board a vessel. But the ship now is heading south, so we're gonna have a bit of downtime for a couple of days. So, Guy, you've said you want to do some crafting, but if anybody else has anything else that they want to get on with, reading, whatever, you've got a couple of days. So why don't you start us off, Torek? What is it that you are working on?
I am going to be working on. Actually, I'm going to need a gem to finish off the thing, so I could use one of those gems that we got.
There's a fairly significant haul in that bag of holding at the minute.
Yes, so I'll very, very kindly ask Roland for access to the bag of holding. I just need a nicely sized gem, about the size of a Malteser.
Actually,
Do
this
you know
might
what the
be
Malteser is?
this might be a good opportunity to start doling out and figuring out what everyone's got.
Yep. So
Um,
where is the simple matter of
So it
distributing that loot?
was 30,000 in coin and 7,000 in gems.
Uh-huh.
Or was it 20,000? No, 30,000. Yeah, that's right. That's what I've got written down anyway.
Yeah, 30 grand in gold pieces, and then 6,000. No, 7,000 here. Sorry, gold pieces worth of gems.
So, Torek, do you want a larger share of gems, I guess? Because they're probably more in handy for you.
Well, I certainly wouldn't say no to it. It's especially with inflation on the rise. It might be nice to have some physical assets.
Thankfully, Torek, fiat currency is yet to be discovered. So unless the king is on his way to debase currency another way, he should be good.
Yeah.
Right. So okay, let's figure this out and see what's fair.
It doesn't matter. I'll be spending it on Blitz coin.
So 30 grand between 5 of us would be 6k each. But let's recognize the fact that, LeBoul should get some kind of share. He has spent like 200 years trapped in a gem, and he did try to help us fight.
And we do want to see him set up on his feet, if absolutely nothing else.
Yeah, we're good people. We're not going to leave him with nothing.
Oh, I wouldn't know about good people. Not all of us, but we're not the worst.
Also, I think you use the term "people" fairly lightly there.
And that.
Plus, he's gonna need to get set up, and it's gonna take him a big adjustment, perhaps. And, who knows? Maybe if he can prove himself, he might make a worthwhile companion. And we want our companions to be, well equipped, good to go. So, shall we say an even split 6 ways?
That sounds fair.
Okay, that's 5,000 gold each then.
Wait, what?
Oh,
Oh, for the 30.
Okay.
I was confused of what was going on then.
So that's the gold for now at least. So 5,000 gold each. I can keep hold of it for
That's
the
a lot of
physical
gold for some guy
purposes
with
of having
not
it
men,
in a bag of holding.
Bag of, yeah. Stick that in
So
my
that's
pocket, and
5,000.
Yeah, I doubt you've got satchels big enough.
a pocket of holding.
Be interesting to see how much we can push my basket. If it's overflowing, does it still hold stuff inside?
Right.
And actually,
That's the
while we're doing all this as well, I've got a list of how much I owe everyone for.
Rune finally pays off some debts.
I'd actually forgotten about that.
Do I have a list? I actually might not have written it down. That was probably intentional on my part.
Yeah. Because none of us are going to write it down as well.
We
There you
joked
go,
about
Tris.
that.
Is that 20 gold?
I did actually write it down. It was 400 gold that you loaned Tris, or Tris loaned you.
I'm sure I did as well.
I didn't write anyone else's down. I assumed
Oh, I think
we would all be able to account for them.
I think I borrowed 200 off someone else as well.
I remember what happened, but I can't remember if it was me. I'll look through my notes.
Right, so 400 gold I'll
Havel?
give to Tris. I think it was, yeah. I think I borrowed 200 off Havel. So 400 gold to Tris, 200 to Havel.
If I must.
Thank you.
Okay,
I
I'm
don't know if I owe anyone else. But anyway, yeah, gems.
I'm just gonna. I'm gonna add 4,750 gold instead of the full 5,000 to account for the gold cost of finishing off my magical item. Is that a good way to do it, Crispy? Or
Yeah, might as well. That works out.
And then of the gems, shall we just say, I guess for Torek's purposes, if he takes, I don't know, fucking 4,000 gold's worth of gems, doesn't matter specifically what those gems are, it is just what he needs them to be? Or is that
It's going to be easier that way than saying like,
Yeah.
oh, you have 113 opals and blah 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 blah.
10
So
diamonds, 4 rubies, whatever bollocks like.
well, it's a pretty significant haul of gems. So he's
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
not.
Gonna have my pick, yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to be too hard
Alec gets
pressed.
9 grand.
Diamond,
So if it's-
especially in the powdered variety, is pretty good for me. I can also use. I can also use. Actually. I think I thought I could use some other stone for a different spell, but it's actually saying a lockbox worth that much instead of a rare stone. I'm like, okay.
That's very weirdly specific.
Yeah. So I may have to either talk to Crispy on that one or make myself some more boxes, because that's kind of how my character was in the start as well, just tinkering with that box.
He did have a lockbox.
Yeah, OG Torek. I think he'll know how to make a puzzle box.
Mm.
Well, okay. So if we say, because Tarek will have more use out of them, so Tarek gets, say, 4,000 worth of gems, and then the remaining 3,000 split between us.
But why does Torek get so much more?
Because Tarek makes good use of them by keeping us alive.
I like how Havel literally just got revived by Tarek and is like, why does he need diamonds?
Yeah, he did still revive Havel. Nothing changed in between.
So,
I
like,
don't remember that, so it didn't happen.
Yeah, I wasn't really around for that moment. I don't know what was used.
so then 600 gold's worth of gems each for the rest of us, and Tarek gets the 4,000 worth of gems. Cool.
Thank you very much. I'll make good use of them, I promise.
Tell you what, Lewis, you picked a good time to join. These lot haven't made even a sum of that much in the last year and a half.
This is a
playing, so-
hell of a bit. Yeah. By the way,
That's a
we're
good
doing
point.
all
Why
this.
does the midget get so much?
We're doing all of this well out of sight of any of the crew members or anything, because this is
Yeah.
like insane.
This is asking us to get mugged and killed in our sleep.
And thrown overboard in the middle of
Yeah.
the
You can
ocean.
try.
Yeah,
Okay, so
sacrificed to a kraken.
you
there any
you
way
have your
I-
meeting down in the bilge.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere I can put this on my D&D or D&D Beyond, or
Yeah, it's under your equipment tab.
Equipment,
if you
yeah.
see where it says
Son of
currency,
cards and connected.
currency manage?
just click on it and then
I've
you
put the
can-
gold on, but there's nowhere for
Some random person just joined
Yeah,
our game.
You can go manage equipment and then add a custom item.
Problem
How
solved.
fucking wonderful.
just
Yeah.
gems. Yeah.
yeah, 600 gold's worth of gems, and then when we get back to a town or whatever, you can sell that, I guess.
Someone else.
Alright, I'm just handing out the bands.
So what happens when you don't put a password on?
I know, it must have been a tabletop update or something that changed it. Oh well,
Should be funny.
get to
400, yeah.
pull a few others while we're doing it. Cool.
What'd you say?
So yeah, you distribute your spoils as discussed. So yeah, Tarek, you've got a good selection of gems to choose from while you're crafting this.
Brilliant. I'll Ooh. If Torek was, I'm actually just gonna like ask this character. I'm like, what color do you think I should go for? I think for my purposes, I could use any of these. Tris, what do you think? Do you think I could pull off like an onyx black, or do you think I should go for something lighter?
Have you got a nice metallic grey?
And like just sifting through a few gems. It's like, this is kind of like pearly thing
Ooh,
here.
that red one there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's nice.
Alrighty then. And yeah, I affix the red gem into the ring.
Okay, so you finish up this this creation of yours.
Excellent. I wonder how potent it is. Hey Tris, try to peer into my mind. I'm gonna try and resist you.
All right, I'm gonna try and. Oh, tell you what, I'm gonna try rather than doing the normal kind of booping into your mouth. Oh no, I'm gonna try that because I think you've got to be willing for that to work. Yeah, I'm gonna try and tune into Radio Toric.
And I try and resist.
Okay, so what have you created, and what is the wording for resisting that then?
Okay, so what I've created is a ring of mind shielding. While wearing this ring, you are immune to magic that allows other creatures to read your thoughts, determine whether you are lying, know your alignment, or know your creature type. Creatures can telepathically communicate with you only if you allow it. I can also take an action to make the ring become invisible until I use another action to make it visible again.
Okay, so you're wearing the ring, and Triss, as you try and get into Toric's head, nothing. It's just static.
What the heck have you made? Can
A
I?
ring of mind shielding.
Oh, a bit like my scrying thing.
Similar. So the scrying prevents the user from being seen by magical means. This one prevents one's mind from being manipulated by magical means. I created it because I have learnt that we are up against a very powerful. What do they call them again? The mind.
Telepath?
Telepath, yeah. He used his psionic abilities to break someone's neck. Still working on the solution for that one.
That sounds like a neat trick. But sensible approach to stopping that. You see Triss open up a book and pop a note in. Somewhere.
Need to reinforce neck.
Necks. Snappable.
So psionic abilities just made Crispy think of XCOM, I think. Nope.
There are options. Good luck, Commander.
But
Cool. So yeah,
yes.
Torek, you hear no, sign, but Triss is communicating with you in your own mind.
Excellent. I'm going to have to make an allowance through my firewalls to let you through.
I was about to ask, is this just a blanket not being able to
It
speak?
is a blanket, not being able to speak it. He is completely immune whilst that ring has been worn.
So you can't choose to speak to me at all. How interesting.
No, it would have to be taken off to have the effects
Well,
removed.
creatures can telepathically communicate with you only if you allow it. So I imagine that is in the way of I've got to weld a bypass for certain brain frequencies.
IFF for incoming communications.
Yeah, that's why I use the whole letting you through the firewall example, just like an exception to just blocking everything else out.
Just Triss allowed through.
For better or worse.
Yes, I may regret this in time, but you are allowed through.
Imagining Torek trying to set it all up, like, no, this isn't a shared device. Okay, cool.
Man, I
So
should have
that's
made it a tooth and made it a blue gem.
I mean,
Retcon?
Titus would enjoy that as well.
I call you Bluetooth.
We'd call it something different.
Yeah, I call you
Rockjaw.
So close, yet so far.
I mean, if you want to retcon it to be a tooth, I'll allow that. Why not?
No, I'm not desperate to make it a tooth. Actually, it's just for that one joke that could have been funny. But sadly, I did not see that far into the future. I kind of like it being a ring. being able to make it invisible and all that.
Hmm. Cool. Okay then. Yeah. So you get set up with that, and then try it again with the new settings, and sure enough, you're able to filter out the bad noise, but still let Triss in. Cool. Very handy. So while these guys are tinkering away with that, anybody have anything they want to be getting up to? Or even just using the time to maybe fill Laboul in with, what he's missed.
Yeah, probably some of that. And then Braxton's going to spend a bit of time sort of seeing to his shield. It took a few considerable blows in the past week. So just going to not completely mend it because that's not my skill set, but sort of straighten it out a little bit.
Yeah, you're able to use your hammer to knock out a few of the worst dents. Probably wouldn't hurt to get it checked over by an armourer at some point, but it's still strong and sturdy. It's not punctured in any places. The kind of fastenings are still secure, but yeah, it's definitely not parade worthy anymore. All right. You know what? Actually, I think it'd be better to have you guys maybe fill Laboul in character. That would make more sense, perhaps.
Well, some of this needs to be Toric because there's a lot of things that are straight up history that you've missed. But as for us, we said we were dealing with the local wildlife, which is semi appropriate. A lot of it is more monsters, though. There's a lot of very savage creatures out there.
Tell me, does the name Kovtara mean anything to you?
I've never heard it. It's a vague name. I may have heard it from someone, but it doesn't mean a lot to me, no.
Well, you see, Kovtara is an ancient god that was released even before your time by a psychopath a lizard folk. These lizards were the dominant race then. And it led the world to utter collapse. She is a patron god of the very feral spirits of the wild. So with her loose on the world, well, nature was too large for civilization to exist. But they also found a way to seal her away. Parts of her soul sealed away into what would you call them? Phylacteries? What have we been calling the rocks?
Keystones.
Keystone. Oh yeah. And essentially you got these keystones with Kovtara's soul that a few of them have been released. Is anyone keeping a head count?
I've been trying not to. How many keystones have been broken at this stage?
There was the one that caused Quiniel to go into his coma. And then there was a second that Alistair recovered from the temple when we fought Havel's old companions.
The one that went to the Angels of Adoa?
I don't think we really know what's happened with that one.
Yeah, assume the worst. We could be wrong.
So 2 that we know of, possibly 3. Possibly more. I mean, the Quintilius may have gotten hold of others before we really even knew what was going on.
And then there was always that situation in the temple with the incense.
With the... Oh, yes. Well, I suppose
we don't speak about that.
We didn't see any keystones, but I think that's what caused Quiniel's accident, wasn't it?
Unsure. something happened not in our best interests. The less said, the better.
Well, anyway, part of Kovtara's soul at the moment is out, so the world as you know it may be a little more feral. We should keep an eye out when we're traveling for any large, extinct, prehistoric, or futuristic monsters. Am I missing anything thus far? Let's see. New civilization comes along, and we live amongst them as slayers. But we're hired out to slay these monsters.
So we
Is there good
travel.
money in
Yeah, sometimes. This payout is unusually large, though. Before you get your hopes up.
that? Oh,
Although,
okay.
given by your time period, I suppose this is particularly large for you as well. Meh.
Exceptionally, I would think. You're very lucky to be alive, frankly.
So what of the world I used to know? What's happened? What is everything gone? Is anything the same?
No. The city you grew up in is now a thriving city. At least that it was when we left it there.
The last time we saw it, it looked like it had seen better days, but the world will be recognizable with the addition of several monsters and a war, but still recognizable for the most part.
Yeah, Nullable. Sorry, there are always, monsters in the wilds. This was common knowledge in your times. Being, largely a city dweller, you never really dealt with many firsthand. At this point, the Kingdom of Parfunas was significantly more concentrated. There were only a few cities and villages were few and far between. So you'll have heard stories about the wilderness and the things that lurk within. But from what these guys are saying, you're going to probably have to brace yourself for stuff that you're not familiar with at all.
Well, suppose we'll have to get back to all that at some stage, but we've had pressing issues. Anything else?
I suppose we should cover the fact that one of the lizard people that we thought was extinct, there's one of them left, and he's a fanatic for Kovtara, and he's responsible for most of them, the keystones being released.
Yeah.
Whew.
So
I
he
was maybe going to
stopped
keep that
it.
to ourselves, but yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, I'm feeling a lot safer ever since I crafted my ring. I hope it's not a false promise. I look at my ring concernedly.
Glad one of us is feeling safer.
Oh, by the way, I'm just gonna check my character sheet real quick, just to make sure I'm not lying on the next sentence. If anyone else had anything to say, fuck.
I was going to ask Torek what was said while he was kidnapped, but I assume we'll just give that a pause for the moment.
Once Tarek works out if he's a filthy liar or not.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I lie? Honestly. It's not like he paid me a massive amount of money that I'm currently hiding. Nah, he didn't trust me with money. I think he knew that I was going to do this. But yeah, I'm thinking I might be able to duplicate my mind ring. Yes, I can. So, you remember how I could copy items at the start of the day? I can use one of my infusions to make a copy of the mind ring if we ever have a need for more of them.
Okay, cool. So you whip up an additional ring. What do you
Well,
see? Mace?
it would take the place of one of the infusions at the start of the day. So you know how I've got like upgraded armor for some people and all that. It would take one of those
yeah.
spots.
So you can rather than you are, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I could start the day, rip off the metal from my boots, and just make up a makeshift ring that's fully functional for the day.
Cool.
And yeah, I figured I'd just share that just in case. You know, I feel that this ring might become very important if my suspicions are correct.
Good one to have in the back pocket, perhaps.
No, I'm wearing it. Got him. And so, any questions?
Yeah, Torek, what happened in the period before we got to you?
Well, I was being held at to the west of where you picked me up from, and gosh, a lot happened. Just give me a second here. It's let me see if I've got any notes.
I've got visions of Torek like pulling out his books and things like
His
that.
little diary.
Yeah.
Diary.
For events, diary for experiments.
No, don't be silly. That's a log.
Why would you write on a log? Oh, right, logbook. I think you meant. No, I don't have any notes. So,
Tarek questioning the mysterious voice booming down in the lower deck. One you'd all had a gentleman's agreement to never talk about or acknowledge existed, but you can all hear.
A gentleman's agreement. Yeah. So, Jesus Christ, I really didn't have any notes. I really thought I was keeping notes on that session. I was alone. Essentially, Equineal was there.
No, it wasn't.
Which I keep on getting those names mixed up. Equineal and the big bad, Quintilius. Quintilius was there, and he said,
"Yeah, Equineal fucking executed for treason."
And he essentially said he needed me to work on the site to the east. I had interactions with the crew that our tiefling friend was working with. They've all got their own motivations, and I was trying to see what motivates them, see if I could get any of them to leave the cause. Sadly, no such luck. I did send you the message using a teleporter pad that was in their facility. They have lots of them, so they're able to teleport themselves over vast distances.
That explains how they've been catching up with us so easily, I suppose.
Yes, it was such a long distance. I think these teleporters are global. Anyway, in one fell swoop, I teleported the message to you and sabotaged the teleporter pad. so that may have slowed them down a while. That's why I made my way to the expedition by dog and sled. And you guys arrived just before we cut our way in there. I don't think I'm missing anything important. Oh, I asked about the scales on the back of my hand. You remember I'm mutating slowly?
Yes. Did you say
It's an adaptation.
Hibbonites?
Yes, it's an adaptation to hibonite radiation.
Ah. Okay. And Laval, for your sake, the civilization of the lizardy people that we talked about, they were the ones who managed to trap Kovtara. We've been traveling around and trying to uncover some of their old cities and towns, to see if we can find any information or the keystones to stop Quintilius and Alistair from finding them and releasing more of Kovtara.
Okay.
It's a fair bit to take in, so don't worry if it doesn't all sink in straight away. You'll no doubt meet a couple of those names before this is all done. So yeah, as you guys are relaying all this information, you can see a just a kind of look on this halfling's face, and you can't tell whether he believes you or not. Now, the bull, you've heard some tall tales in your life, and this has got to be up there with the best of them. If you were sat in a tavern back in Eventide in your youth, you'd be prone to call them outright liars. But given what you've seen in the last 24 hours, perhaps it's not all too far fetched.
Just found my notes.
Oh, Tarek.
Oh yes, I remember now entirely. Quintilius was wanting to build the device in the schematics to kill what he calls the Keeper, your patron, Triss.
Oh, okay, yes. Good old Ran.
You're on first name basis, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's been inside my head, and the whole belly button situation. Seemed only time that we got a little bit more personal. Carry on.
Where would we be up to anyway?
Tarek?
Mark was explaining.
I don't think I've missed too much yet. They called Kovtara the All Mother, if that means anything to anyone. Probably just some chant or title for her.
Was there that cult situation?
Not really. I don't think a lot of the people there didn't have the motivation to do it as a cult, but Quintilius himself seemed quite not like culty in the books, but like quietly zealous, if that makes sense.
Low-key
Well,
culty.
they called her the All Mother as well, and the statue that we found, she had the head of a lioness, wings, claws, horse's legs, tentacles. So kind of seems like she was,
I wonder whether she's a
god
relation of Ran.
a god to many. She was, she wasn't just represented as a single race. She was multiple, I guess, civilizations, deity.
I don't know why you'd want to worship anything looking like that. Looks like a failed experiment.
Maybe it just represents how long she's been around, that she's overseen so many different species, perhaps, that have lived in this realm.
Ah, that's one interesting interpretation.
Or the very nature of the world, I suppose, the various creatures that inhabit the world. She is, after all, responsible for nature going wild as it is. I mean, think of every sealed off temple that we've ever found, some monstrous creature living within. Can't be a coincidence, really, that they're drawn to Kovtara's presence.
Yeah, what say you, Paladin? Can you pick up anything from Kovtara's description? You never saw the statue, did you?
No, I don't know of this statue, but it seems like some sort of ruler of all things natural, all things living. Perhaps somewhere in some scriptures it may be described in more detail. Can I roll religion to think if I can think back
Sure.
of anything specific? Never mind. That's a 4.
Now, that's what I call heresy. The worship of the old gods is very much frowned upon. Much in a similar way that the pagans of Europe were persecuted. Kovtara's practices are viewed as primitive and have several dark stigma attached to them, especially within the holy orders of the newer gods.
Yes, being an older god, it is not something we associate ourselves with. So I cannot give you any more information, I'm afraid, Torrik.
Ooh. So, any questions?
The bull?
Do
No,
you
I
have
think that's not.
any more idea about how we're gonna deal with these weapons, Torrik?
Deal with them?
Yeah, well, whether we produce them or how we produce them, or whether we just pretend they don't exist, given the damage that we saw one of them do.
Well, I think it's an idea to build one ourselves if we can. Don't we already have a half of one assembled?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
you've
what we're
got
working
you've got a partly built one. Obviously, with just for one schematic, they could only get so far.
Oh, did I see a partly built one while I was captive?
You did. You learned that obviously Ronford was able to leak the schematics back to Quintilius and his lackeys put together one that you noticed was significantly more sophisticated than the one at Keremwen.
Yes. Well, Quintilius has a better one. Um. I don't know. I mean, we could build it and see how it operates, study it, learn more from there, or we can try and sabotage efforts. Actually, didn't we've supplied? Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Does anyone know how to restart the gnome?
Try turning him off and on again.
Torrik? Torrik.
I was just thinking about I've cooked up a fake version of the second half of the schematics as well, haven't I?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you didn't. Rantagoth did.
Oh, yep, yeah. He sorry.
Yeah, that's how he has it.
Yeah, and that's going to come in very important in case we're intercepted.
Well, I think that's the whole kind of idea, is that we want to get those fake plans into Quintilius's hands somehow.
Well, they
Well,
were left.
we don't-
Oh yeah, we did.
Switcheroo
Yeah,
left
we
them
did.
in the safe.
Yeah, we left them in the safe. Duh. Forgot about that.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, because we want
That's why I
we,
couldn't find him in
we
my
want him
inventory.
to build the device that will hopefully backfire and take him out, or at least not cause him to be able to beat Rantagoth. And I'm sure Rantagoth did a good enough job because he doesn't want to be killed by the super weapon. So
Yeah. I mean, it's Rantagoth, so who knows what he's got planned in the dummy schematic.
But we do have the real schematic.
Yes, we do.
If it came to it, we could possibly build our own version, but I am concerned about doing something like that.
It is concerning because if we do build one, then it could be reverse engineered, and yes, a
It's
god
also-
killing weapon is not something that we take lightly.
No, it will probably draw the ire of all the gods through.
Probably draw the ire of my father too.
Hmm?
He worked his
Dark's
whole
dad, the
life.
elder gods, has he not told you? Yeah.
No. Yeah, yes, I'm the son of. No,
His name was Mr. C. Thulu.
my father spent a large portion of his
Thulu,
life building war machines and devices.
Ah. That explains
Huh.
some things.
Yeah.
Right. But then
Yes, the boomer blade was somewhat his idea.
right.
Well, that's
Everyone did the
interesting.
Yes, so if we do bump into any academy members, maybe it's best not to give them an indication of what the schematics are and do.
Torek,
well, I
given my last
give anyone-
interaction with your academy, I don't think they will spend very much time listening to anything I have to say.
No, Tris, I think you're misunderstanding. What I'm trying to say is, if they bar me up, you've got to take the schematic.
Okay.
Well,
Wait, no. Actually, you're the murderer. Roland, you've got to take the schematic.
I already have this schematic. Torek, I think you need to sleep.
Murderer is a bit harsh. I think it was manslaughter rather than outright murder.
I think culpable homicide would be.
Yeah, second degree, maybe.
I know I'm
I'll have
going
see
to
what the judge
jail,
says.
and I know that
You'll
there is a man who is dead who should not be dead, and I am largely responsible.
Just for one.
You are almost entirely responsible. I would say.
I didn't sink my spidery appendages into him. The spiders
No,
did that.
you merely held him where the spiders could reach, I guess.
I
I
really
reckon they
regret
will
telling
still
you
try
that.
and lock me up. After all, I've got the motive to take him out.
Well, I mean, the workers were the only ones who really knew what happened, and they didn't seem too interested about telling the story. So maybe they don't know. Maybe they think he just ran into a monster by himself.
I mean, he did
No.
run into a monster by himself.
The workers saw us bury the body.
Yeah, but they
Walk away
didn't
with
really
that
have
thing.
much love for Falmir, and they didn't really like him that much. So
We didn't
Who
talk
knows?
with them and try and discuss, like, are we cool or anything. We just walked off.
well, we kind of did. They sort of agreed it. Wasn't really any of their business, and they didn't really care. So maybe they just didn't tell the story to anyone.
I don't know. I doubt. I seriously doubt that the word hasn't got out. Is there any other threats that we should be mindful of?
You're kind of missing the big one, guy.
I am.
Yep.
Land
Given that
Kraken.
you're on a ship and all.
Oh,
Ah.
sea kraken.
Oh shit! I was looking at my notes like, oh shit, what have I missed? Like from like the interaction with Quintilius, I was like, oh, I was so embarrassed. Like, oh god, oh no.
No, different fuck up.
Yeah.
There's so many at this point.
That one wasn't my fault, though, was it? That's
No,
nice.
no, I think you were surprisingly innocent in this one.
That's
No
the
one will
first
ever
time for
believe that,
everything.
though.
Conrad might have a difference in opinion if he was still alive to ask.
I'm still holding out hope. We might find him somewhere,
Maybe.
washed up on shore. You know.
Horribly bloated.
Missing several appendages.
Rescued by some lovely fisher folk. I don't know. Is there any other details we missed?
Probably.
This has been a nice little catch up. I think we've all remembered some details from the past.
And on an unrelated story, we are also collecting artifacts to do with my deity, which is Azora.
Yes.
I've collected a few, and we believe there are, I think, 2 more.
One more?
One more.
One more? One more. Oh, yeah, because we've
done this one.
Yes. One more, and then hopefully if I can return all of them to Nurna, then they can be kept there for safekeeping.
Maybe it would be good to please Azora. You know, having a god on our side might be helpful.
It might be more than helpful, yes.
Plus, there was you do seem to have quite a connection with Azora. Those visions that you had, Braxton. Perhaps she's got something in store for you.
Perhaps. Time will tell.
So, are we just on our way now?
Yeah, so you guys have been having a catch up down in the bilge. Obviously, it only takes an hour or two. Yeah, the ship is heading south, as you previously agreed with Captain, en route back to Scarpoland Bay.
Oh yeah, we need to ask him about rerouting. Forgot all about that.
Yeah,
Do we want to do that, or do we want to go back to Scotland and
Well, I did say it before because he already said he's sort of low on rations and stuff.
Oh god, yeah, I've just skipped over that. Yeah,
Mhm.
okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
I don't want to push it even
But we
more.
could always go overland from there.
From Scotland?
Yes?
Not really.
No?
Can't
This
really.
is a
It's completely water.
Ah, shit, yeah, of course. Yep. Unless we ask him to drop us en route as we go through this, the
Yeah.
narrow, the ruined bastion of Half.
Is that an actual town, or is that just a ruin?
It is a ruin.
I mean, maybe he could drop us at landfall. If he's... Oh, I
That's still
can't.
quite far out of the way if we're running low on
Well, we'll
provision.
need to, purchase horses and whatever to get us the rest of the way. Also.
Yeah, I think perhaps it's worth going back to the bay first. Then LeBeau can decide where his path will take him, and we can restock.
It's a plan. It's a good plan.
Okay.
Oh,
I mean, honestly, before we go back to Nerna, we could potentially go and collect the other artifact. Do it all in one go, as opposed to having to go to Nerna, come back, and then go back again.
True. It is not such a far journey.
And we are, I think, going to be as well equipped as we ever can be.
Yes.
It will likely take Quintilius days, if not weeks, to send another search party back to the ruin to stumble upon the plans and then get back to his fortress. We may have bought ourselves some time there.
Yes, I agree. Hopefully, we should have enough time for this diversion.
Yeah, what do you think?
well, you wouldn't know anything about Quintilius's plans, would you? So,
Well, I guess Torek. How long did it take? How long did it take you to get from Quintilius's base to the ruins on your sled?
Let's see. It was about. I think it was like 5 days, wasn't it, Crispy?
Yeah, it was
That's just
5
off the
days.
top of my head. Yeah, because I remember it was 2 days less than the rest of you guys' travel, and I think Crispy said a week for your guys. So
Yeah.
that's the
So-
roundabout me remembering it.
So Quintilius will have to assemble his forces again because a lot of them were wiped out by the dragon. Have to get all of his equipment back together to make camp, etc., etc.
Well,
Right.
don't be fooled. The dragon didn't take out all of his forces. The kill squad of theirs is still up and running, and very well, I might add.
Well, he's still going to have to deal with an ancient white dragon, maybe. Hopefully. Might still be in the area that could cause some havoc for them.
Maybe. It was several days out. I think it was just picking off weak prey, frankly. Oh, maybe. I don't know. Can I do a nature roll on the behavioral cycles of dragons?
Well,
well, I
I'm
mean, it
only,
was
I'm only saying it was released from the cave, so perhaps, it's treating that as its home, almost.
Or maybe it's guarding what's in there.
Oh no, you remember last time the cave was too small for dragon to get in.
Hmm. You can guard something from the outside.
Yeah, but it wasn't, released from there. Essentially, is what I'm trying to say. For that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, fair point. Okay, anyway. Point is, we might have bought ourselves a little bit of time at least to recover the last of Braxton's artifacts and make our way back up to Nerna. Yes? No?
Yes. Yes. Tentatively.
No prizes for guessing my vote.
I
And
think we could
perhaps
use a god on
even
our side or two.
this little site down here.
Oh, does
Oh, no,
anyone
wait,
want
no,
to?
oh, no, wait, that's the... No, wait, where is that? No, yeah, we've not been there, have we? Or have we?
I don't think so.
No. Knocked two birds out with one stone. That's the weird portal place. But we've not been to this one. So we could,
Mhm.
two birds, one stone. What do you guys think?
It'd be rude not to. We're basically walking past it.
I mean, we could head to collect your artifact first, and then
Come back via.
come back to the Tildrace site,
Yeah.
and perhaps not even go to Skepland. We could maybe get passage from Pontek up to
Yeah.
Nerna. Or actually, maybe not if we want to avoid this kind of general area.
Yeah.
Either way, we'll have to get horses, etc. again from Skepland. Maybe buy back the ones that we sold. Probably a little bit extra, maybe, but
Hmm. Yes.
Yes.
Apple, sorry.
Sure, whatever.
Apple's just good with
Oh.
anything.
Just wants to climb trees and shoot shit.
He's got pain.
Pretty
He's good. Yeah.
Yeah, we
He's
can
doing the mental
can
maths.
overnight and then you can get your drink. You
Yeah.
can get your drink on. It's okay.
Trying to work out how much mead he can buy with 5,000 gold.
God.
Guys,
Mead
a
and
hefty
arrows.
amount of meat.
I mean,
How many new gold teeth he can get?
well, it's not every day he gets to celebrate coming back from the dead. So
Yeah, true. Well, celebrate. I don't know is the right word. Commiserate.
I love how he spent gold coins for a golden tooth. Just
Look,
like
that's-
melt it down, man.
yeah,
Just melt
Tarek's
down
offering to
one.
do it on the cheap for you.
Yeah, I'll pour molten gold into your mouth.
Dentist Torek. Oh god.
Imagine like Torek imagines gold teeth are made in a similar manner to fucking toffee apples. Like you just literally pour molten
Dip it
metal
in.
around the tooth. Yeah, cast it like that.
Oh, toffee apple. Mm.
Okay, so yeah, the captain's already said he's making sail for Scarpaland. Although it's going to take you a best part of a week to get there.
All right. Does anyone want any magical items?
What were you saying about tattoos the other day?
Oh, yeah. I can whip up a tattoo or two. There's lots of different tattoos. A tattoo is essentially just a magical item, aka the ink, that is tattooed into the skin for a given magical effect. Think of it as just having, magical fluid subdermally.
Because the situation is the fact that I keep on getting knocked unconscious isn't doing any of us any favours. But
I mean,
we
Triss,
should
you've already got
maybe
the one
prepare.
tattoo.
Yeah, for the fact that Torek is the only person who can realive people too.
Real life. That is the word.
Resurrect.
Revivify, that's the one.
No, real life. I like that.
Okay, realive it is.
Second birth. We've had one, yes. How about second birth?
Yeah. I don't know. The physics of that make me feel a bit queasy.
Right. Do you want me to talk you through the magical items potentials for the tattoo? Maybe I could just upgrade your current one.
Oh.
Although I think that particular idea might take a while.
Okay.
Because just trying to get my source book. If anyone has anything else they want to prepare for this week's travel, then go ahead. Just Torek, eh?
The artificer's burden.
Well, everyone else have a look at if they could really use some more magical items. I can craft I've got a feat which allows me to craft magical items for half the cost and a quarter of the time. So I can make a rare item in like 5 days. Not a rare item, an uncommon. Oof. Rare items are good. So when it comes to your barrier tattoo, what your current bonus to it is just a +2 to your AC, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's already a very good tattoo. That's an
Yeah.
uncommon rarity item. It to upgrade it to rare, it would be it would turn your AC into. Oh my god, the tattoos work the same way as armor. So the uncommon one turns your AC into 12 plus your dex. The rare one would then turn it into 15 plus your dex to a maximum of 2, so like medium armor.
Okay.
And a very rare tattoo is 18 AC flat. You don't get a bonus because of dex.
Okay, so for the sake of everything that's happening, we might as well just stick with what we have at the moment anyway, then.
I mean, one possibility is that I could get you a shield once we hit land, because I could put a Ruby of the War Mage into it and you could channel your spells through a different held item, say a dagger or something.
That might work.
Or I could just give you some more sick tats.
I mean, that sounds fun, rather than having to deal with a shield.
And no one else got any ideas on what they want?
Well, I think we'd already discussed it. That the Eldritch Claw one might be really good.
Oh, yeah, the Eldritch Claw one for you. Wait,
What was? Let me try and find the
Unearthed
actual.
Arcana? That's not
No,
good.
it's Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Let me find it. Eldritch Claw tattoo.
Yeah, I remember what it does. It like increases reach and whatnot. I'm sorry if you wanted to get the session moving along, Crispy. You can if you like.
It's fine. You got to plan, don't you?
Yeah, so while the tattoo's on your skin, unarmed strike is considered magical. I get that anyway.
Cheese weasel.
But it also gives a +1
Oh,
to attack
I
and
need to
damage.
wipe my banhammer out again.
I thought Rich was just an exclamation of cheese weasel.
I thought, like, yeah, like that tattoo's amazing. Cheese weasel.
It's
Hey,
like
well,
when
I've
they-
been looking for a canonical version to replace, like, Christ as an exclamation, so there we have it.
Cheese weasel.
I imagine it's one of those ones where he gets a tattoo in a different language, but it just says the complete wrong word.
Yeah.
Or like, thanks to Braxton's, holy upbringing, he can't swear by the traditional means. So it's goodness gracious is like cheese weasel. He would get a quick slap from the nuns back at the.
Write that down somewhere.
Yeah, so +1 to attack and damage for unarmed. And as a bonus action, you empower the tattoo for a minute. And you gain 15 feet of reach. And it also deals an extra 1d6 force damage on hit.
See, I just think that would be insane if you mixed it with Flurry of Blows.
I don't understand what the rarity of tattoos is, though. Like, what is that?
Okay, so depending on the
difference?
tattoo, depending on the tattoo, it gets a different amount of coverage on the body. So Trissa's tattoo is uncommon, which is half a limb or the scalp. So she's got half of her arm is
It's like
this
a
shield
hand.
tattoo.
Okay. But the rarity doesn't make the tattoo any more powerful. It's just in terms of how much skin it covers.
Yeah, tattoos can't overlap each other. You can't have
I'm with
say,
you.
3 legendary tattoos because they take up too much space.
So if you
Also,
had a legendary
technically,
tattoo,
tattoos.
that
yeah,
would be
ta-
like
Pretty much
Yeah,
whole body thing there. Like Yakuza back one, I would imagine would be a good.
you could then pretty much only get like so a legendary would be 2 limbs in the torso, so that would leave you basically with 2 limbs remaining to be tattooed.
yeah, exactly.
Maybe your scalp.
In addition, there would be a tuning rules, but Crispy's a cool GM, so.
I think a tuning might be a good way of keeping this kind of like within reason, and not letting everyone just get a ridiculous amount of tattoos.
Well, to be fair, I think it hasn't really hit a problem yet because a lot of the magical items we have come across have just been like roleplay-esque, which is honestly the way I prefer it.
Okay, yeah.
I could give someone an absorbing tattoo or a barrier tattoo like I did with Triss. I can also store spells into a tattoo if someone wants a spell stored.
That's what we discussed about doing, like revivify kind of thing. That it
Yeah,
would
I could make
activate upon death, sort of thing. If the GM was willing to.
Well, yeah, we talked about that. It would obviously cost him more. He'd have to put the diamond cost into it as well, but.
And then once it activates, the tattoo would be kind
of
used,
kind of
and you have to replace it
again and again. Yeah, we'd chat about that previously, I remember.
So what level spell is Revivify?
Revivify is a 3rd level spell, so it'd be an uncommon item.
So it would be an uncommon tattoo, so it'd have to be half a limb or scalp.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, then if it's okay, I'd like to get a tattoo.
Okay, yeah,
If
sure.
I may, please have a tattoo, sir.
I mean, is it you who's in the most need of a buff right now? is like the tabletop-y way I would want to approach this, but yeah, it's a bit metagamey, but I don't know. Actually, you probably are, frankly.
I don't know. I mean, like Havel's got like kind of his absolutely insane.
I recently
damage
gave
output.
him the braces of
The
archery.
question is: are there any tattoos that increase my to hit? Because that could definitely do a coffin.
So ridiculous.
Won't be happy until he can hit God with a miss. Yeah.
And obviously, Braxton's got Smite, which is just insane.
Yeah.
But so I suppose I don't know, something to increase Rulin's damage output. I think would be useful because I've got a lot of attacks and I can hit a lot, but my hits don't necessarily hit that hard. I mean, the stun thing is really obviously the monk's best kind of ability. But yeah, it is chip damage, so a little bit more kind of in that way. And also the whole reach thing would really improve his ability of being able to just zip in and out of combat without actually having to stick around and get hit.
Or use keys disengage.
Yeah, that as well. Like I can just become a whirlwind, fly in, do the damage, and fly the fuck out again.
Punch someone.
Oh yeah, maybe I could do you an Eldritch Claw tattoo. For me, it's saying page not found for it. Is it an uncommon?
Let me. Well, I did find it then.
It's in Tasha's, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's probably why I can't find it.
Oh yeah, you probably.
I do have Tasha's. I'm just using the search function.
Okay.
I just searched tattoo at the top, and
let me just snip this, and I'll post it in D&D.
So I think it's come up with the Unearthed Arcana one for some reason higher up the list than the real thing.
Is that Unearthed Arcana?
Well, it would say UA in the title.
No, yeah. So I think that's the official version then from Tasha's.
Cool. So yeah, it's an uncommon, so it'd take me about 5 days, and it would cost me about $250 gold.
Well, I'll pay that.
I think I owe you one. Didn't you recently like give me a hefty amount of gold as just an investment into the party's capabilities? I'll handle this.
Might have been the opposite, to be honest. I mean, I bought
Torek having money is a laughable.
I bought the fluorite for the Hibonite container, which we've not really done anything with yet.
That may come in very useful. In fact, I might be able to bash it into like a shield if you want that.
Well, I think we still need it for the Hibonite. If we ever plan on, well, we're going to need the Hibonite to make this weapon thingy, aren't we? Or is that not how that works? Wasn't? Oh no, because we've got. Didn't we need to like refine the Hibonite somehow, or do something with it?
Yeah, the Hibonite needs to be refined. It's essentially D&D uranium, as far as I can tell.
Seems to be more reactive than uranium. Uranium? What's uranium? Uranium? I hardly know you.
Way.
That
doesn't get a boo.
No, that was great. That.
Fuck you guys. Oh dear.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, just you can tattoo half a limb. So let's say my right forearm.
Cool. Yeah, I'll be going over as I'm like mixing up the magical liquids and whatnot. I'm going to be asking you like all like really deep detail how you want your tattoo to look and doing sketches for you to have a look. I did a really good job with Triss's, I remember, so it'd be nice to make you look cool too.
You got that right with Triss. You rolled pretty well for that. Cool. So Torek, you kind of come up with a few ideas for a design with Rulin. Then when you guys kind of settle on one, you prepare your inks and your needles, and you get to work. Sit Rulin down on a stool out on the deck, so you've got the sunlight to work with, and make a go at his arm. It doesn't take too long before you've got a group of interested sailors kind of casting an eye over, and then obviously a bit of a pissing contest starts as each man starts showing off their own tattoos. Sailors often use a specific tattoo to symbolize a certain milestone in their career. So you see a few swallows which represent that they've done the Cape of Terror down in the kind of southeastern continent, a region known for its particularly high seas and stormy weather. And there are a couple of others, and they're obviously quite keen to have a look-see just to see what you're doing. Yeah, you get a couple of sailors asking whether you could give them some new ones, or maybe add some colour, or touch up some old ones of their own.
That's kind of cool, actually. Keep the boat steady, and I'll be happy to listen to any suggestion.
Yeah, you explain that this one's going to take a while, but if you have time for the journey, you'll think about it.
Yeah.
While Torek's doing that, I'd like him to, like, not really related to the actual magic of the tattoo, but I'd like a little flourish of that symbol, the one that we found on the door of the underground site. Like something similar to that.
Oh, dude! Yeah, I never learnt the name of the group that belonged to. The one with the fang in the fist.
Yeah, like the whatever. It was a horn or something, wasn't it? Like,
yeah, kind of broken horn
surrounded by a wreath. I just think it's interesting.
Yeah, very cool. A monk's fist holding out a broken horn.
Like maybe that on the back of his hand or something. And then the rest of the tattoo snaking down his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is
well,
that is the rough kind of like comparison of it, isn't it, Crispy? Like what it would have looked
yeah,
like.
yeah, it's pretty much it.
Cheese Weasel, come on.
Yeah, Cheese Weasel really wants to join, doesn't
Wait, what? I thought I banned him. No, he's gone.
You think he just tried again? That's all.
We tried. Yeah.
Why would you want to just join a D&D session? Yeah, never mind.
Well, yeah, noted. I'll have to make this
Message
password again.
say you can watch us on YouTube.
Yeah.
Somebody sent him a link. Yeah, send him some homework, like all 400 hours of it. Or something.
Jesus.
They can watch
no.
every single second and report back to us, even the stuff that has no sound.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll watch this. There'll be a quiz.
Yeah.
If anyone went that far with it, I would be willing to accept them into the party.
Me too. It'd be useful. I could fucking use a reminder on a few
It'll
things.
be no more than me because it'll be more fresh in there.
Yeah.
That is the problem when these things kind of keep going for a while. You do start to get a bit hazy about some of the older stuff.
Well, we kind of glazed over it, but this is session 50 by my accounts.
I think
51?
it's 51.
Is it? Oh, never mind.
Hate to ruin that particular moment for you.
Look what my notes are.
But yeah, cool. So you guys are on deck getting that done. And after a while, the coxswain comes down and starts to yell at all the sailors to get back to work. So you guys continue sailing south as you get further away from the northern wastes. The temperature starts to slowly but surely pick up a few degrees. It's still fresh outside, it's got a little chill to the air, but you no longer desperately need your winter survival gear. But the captain seems happy. The seas are well. There's a little swell, but they're not overly rough or threatening. And you've got a nice kind of northwesterly wind, so you're able to kind of tack and jib into that to get you going at a pretty good rate of knots. So on the third day of your sailing, though, Rune and Torek back out on deck to kind of work on the tattoo. About 10 a.m. in the morning, you do hear from up in the crow's nest. Captain, mast on the horizon, starboard bow. And after a little while, you cast your eyes out, and you can see there is a lone sail. The mast being the only thing you can make out as of yet. Clearly, the rest of the ship hidden by the curvature of the earth. You hear the cabin door open at the kind of rear of the ship. The captain strides out, takes his position up by the helm, and whips a small looking glass out from his sea coat and scans the horizon a little bit. You men there, stow the mainsail. Flurry of activity ensues, and the sailors kind of do a pretty fast job of furling away the sails. Seeing the look of confusion from you two, he says, "I'm sure it won't be an issue, but still, I'd rather be on the safe side. Not much trade passing through these waters ever since the fall of eventide, so I'd rather we do what we can to lessen our detection chances out here."
Is there any indication who they might be from here?
Can
From
I
this
do an
distance,
insight roll?
yeah, sure.
Insight is a poor stat. So I rolled a 13, making that a
12.
a 10. That's a 10.
Okay.
Do you want a hand
Jesus
from Triss for the looking and to have a chat about it?
Yeah, so this is obviously, these shouts have been heard from below deck. So the rest of you with not much to do, I'd imagine, probably stick your head above the hatch to see what's happening. So yeah, the captain is kind of back to his spyglass.
Was
kinda
he telling the
keeping
truth?
keeping an eye. So you can see that he's definitely focusing on keeping this eye out. He's his attention is very much on the horizon right now.
Hmm.
I'm gonna walk up to Torek and ask him what's happening.
There's another boat been sighted, off to the right, and well, we've pulled up the sails to lower detection. I don't know about that. I mean, sure, raising the sails could lower detection, but it also stops us dead in the water.
Could I take a look at the boat? I get the feeling, living on these coasts and seeing over these waters, I might potentially have more of a clue who it could be.
So, Braxton, at this stage, all you can really tell of the boat is that it is a sailing vessel. The hull of it is still out of sight. At this point, you've only got the kind of bright white sail, which doesn't really give all too much away.
Yeah.
But it's coming from our east, did you say?
It's coming from your starboard bow, so
West. Okay.
yeah, so it's going to be coming west.
So, if it's set sail from Eventide, perhaps, could be dwarves.
Yes, which is under Nordhammer control.
And we are on a human ship. Well, a Parthunian ship. So, if it is the dwarves, they're not going to be friendly. Could be raiders trying to raid merchant ships, maybe.
Can I go and ask the captain what he's seeing?
So, Triss, you work your way back up onto quarterdeck. And kind of ask him a question. And without taking his eye from his glass, he just tells you that he's looking for any indication of what course this vessel's currently on. Any suggestion of her class, what ownership she might be under. As time goes by and the mast starts to move, he goes, "Well, she's on a southeasterly course. I imagine she's running for the Gap of Hull. Incidentally, that's where we're going. But I'm happy to give her a head start just to be on the safe side."
Probably better she's ahead of us and we can see what's happening.
From the mast now, another cry. "Captain, she's flying Parthunian colours, sir." "Is that it, man? Can you see more about the ship? What class is she?" "Sorry, Captain, I can't tell from here." Well, it seems that she's a Parthunian vessel. Might be out patrolling.
Can I do a quick memory check? When
Sure.
we were in Eventide, there were some ships still there, weren't there? That hadn't been evacuated, I think.
Yeah, there were some ships in the harbour.
Parthenian ships.
Yep.
Rulin being the horrendously suspicious person that he always is. We'll just remind the captain that, Eventide still had some ships in harbour when it was overtaken by the dwarves. So could be something in disguise.
Yes, that thought has crossed my mind, but dwarves aren't particularly notable sailors. They have no real experience, especially in these eastern waters. The Parthenian Navy, on the other hand, should probably be able to maintain these sea lanes at least.
Okay. I trust your expertise, Captain.
Still, I intend to wait and observe, see what she does. So the captain stays on the bridge for the next few hours, watching as these the sailors are kind of making the ship as neat as possible. He lowers one of the anchors and allows the ship to drift so that it's like directly bow onto a mast to further lower the silhouette if anybody was to look. But after a while, this mast starts to recede past down the horizon, heading kind of easterly into this gap. So the captain waits until it's a few hours after losing sight of the vessel before ordering the sails to be laid again. And you guys get back on your way. So a couple of other days go by, and you start to get now into the narrower straits of Hulf. You see a couple of other vessels. These ones, they're unmistakable. Clearly, vessels of the Parthenian Navy. The ball, as you go by, you kind of have to stop your jaw from hitting the deck. These ships put the Lascelles to shame. Looks like a couple of them are, probably doubling her length. What's more, the forecastle and the poop decks have been quite significantly fortified, and you even see siege weaponry mounted on the fore and aft. Ships of war, for certain. They provide you with no problems. You can see the captain and the crew are noticeably more at ease. Now that they're a bit closer to home.
You'll note, Laboul, that Parthenius has certainly perfected the art of shipbuilding over the years. They do have the strongest navy out of all. I mean, the elves have barely nothing, and the dwarves even less.
Well, I don't know anything about the dwarf navies. Can imagine they might have some kind of like ironclads or something.
Roll me a history, Torek.
Ooh, all right. History, I get plus 15. 25.
The dwarves most definitely do not have ironclads. In fact, Rulin is fairly accurate in his assessment that the dwarven navy is frankly not worthy of the name, little more than a series of old decrepit transports. But the most notable times they've even fielded a navy that has come into conflicts was back in the previous conflict with the alliance of the Elefari and the Parthunians. Fleet sailed from Witchkull that was intercepted from an Elefari flotilla from Salthold, and the battle was quite frankly a shambles. The dwarves were soundly thrashed. The clans have pretty much abandoned all hopes of putting out a strong sea-worthy force ever since.
Interesting. That's actually very, very good to know that, interpolitically we do have that advantage.
Cool. So, yes, these warships sail past. They're heading north, which kind of lends credence to the captain's theories of them patrolling. Clearly now, with the knowledge that Eventide has fallen and the fact that there might be some intern ships being put to use for the dwarves, they're clearly aware that their northern waters might need some additional security. So, you continue sailing down the Straits of Half. Ruland Torik's making really good work on your tattoo by now. He's probably only a day away from completing this now. Just getting the final decorative flair worked just right. Say what you will about Torik, but he's a bit of a perfectionist. But as you're sailing by, you cast your eyes out to port side of the vessel and onto the decrepit stone of Bastion of Holf again. Roll me a perception.
Oh. 24.
You're just glancing across the old battlements when a glint of something catches your eye. You don't really have much time to process it, though, as this glint is moving quite quickly. You just have enough time to kind of stand to your feet and kind of push Torik back from the port side of the vessel as a ballista bolt slams through the hull.
Ooh.
The ship creaks from the impact, and the crew is in a stunned silence for a moment. But before all too long, you kind of hear, the sailors down below. Someone's calling in, "Captain, we're taking on water." This is probably one of the last things you really want to be hearing on a vessel. But the sailors are clearly, they know their stuff. Somebody's already running with what appears to be a hose of sorts to kind of man a pump. As Captain emerges from his cabin, he looks around, kind of casts his eyes down, sees you two standing there. By the gods, what was that?
A ballista fired from the ruin.
As if to hammer home your point, a second bolt flies just over the deck, narrowly misses a running sailor, and kind of splashes into the sea. What the hell? I thought that place was abandoned. Helmsman, turn us to starboard. Get us out of range.
Ooh.
The ship starts to slowly creak around, kind of further towards the middle of the channel, but the kind of sheltered nature of the channel means that the wind isn't particularly strong at this moment, and progress is painfully slow. Rulin, roll me another perception.
23.
So you work your way back to the quarter deck, and as the ship's turning, you kind of focus your elven eyes onto these ruined battlements. And you can't really make out numbers, but you can see quite a scurry of activity on these walls. And you watch as, it seems that multiple siege weapons are being operated from there, and these ballista bolts are, they're coming. It seems to be far too rapid for one, maybe even two. Could possibly
Got
be looking at
another one.
battery of
Yeah,
three.
another dude.
No,
Barn hammer time.
and hammer time.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, it looks like you've got a shore battery of at least 3 weapons. So the captain is putting the crew to work now. The sails are now fully unfurled. It's got a team of 4 sailors manning this pump. Down below deck, Triss, you were just kind of having a little read in your hammer because this first bolt kind of tore through the side of the ship, about 4 feet away from your berth. Obviously, this brought back some fairly unpleasant flashbacks of the last time you were below decks when the vessel started taking damage.
Oh, fuck this shit again. I'm gonna head up and have a look at what's going on.
So you head above deck and start to see the chaos. As you're heading up the ladders, a second thud almost knocks you off your feet as a second bolt tears its way into the hold. The captain is, just bellowing orders at this point, but you can see that the crew have done what they can. The wind is just not obliging at this point in time.
How far away are the vessels that are attacking us?
It's not. It's the seems to be coming from the shore.
Okay, how far away from the shore are we?
So I mean, these are clearly quite powerful weapons. These are firing at a distance of probably about 400 meters, maybe more.
I
The
can
equivalent in
count.
yards would be.
I can count 3 ballistae upon the walls, and I'm not sure how many are manning them, but they're just going to keep firing.
Does someone want to come and we'll try and put them off a bit? I can bring one person.
Well, it's 400 meters, which is more than 500 feet.
Shit.
I probably should have given it in feet, shouldn't I? So what's that going to be?
Like
1,300 feet, 112 feet, but yeah, more than 500.
Shit. All right.
The shore is quite far away. It's it's no mean feat that these guys are actually scoring any hits at this range. Alright,
Yes.
roll me an intelligence saving throw.
Yeah, sure. That's a dirty 20.
So, yeah, at this range, siegecraft is difficult, shall we say. The crews of these weapons are either very well trained or they've had time to, zero in their ranges on ships passing through this stretch of water.
Triss, Torek, is there anything you can do to obscure us from them? We may not have enough time to get out of range before they sink us.
I could do something that would make our lives a bit harder as well as theirs, which obviously isn't ideal, but Tarek, do
Is
you
it?
have anything?
I have one risky idea, or I could be put on repair duty. I've got a hidden trick that I think could do the job.
I say
Any ideas?
something,
Quickly.
but
My thoughts are I could either use the flaming boomer blade to zoom across the water, evaporating it and creating a steam cloud for us to escape in. Or I can get to repairing the ship.
And Triss, your idea?
was basically to plunge us into a pool of darkness, but I'm struggling to remember how that actually goes. I think I might have replaced that in my spellbook with something else.
As you're debating this, a ballista bolt comes in hard and embeds itself in the helmsman's it can't be the ship's wheel, essentially the standing up part of that assembly. Only it seems this time the mystery assailants have decided to use flaming munitions.
Oh shit.
You notice that the shaft of this blister is wrapped in what appears to be a thick cloth of some sort, smeared with clearly quite a volatile substance. As it hits, a small puddle of fire quickly spreads down onto the deck.
Okay. Which way is the wind blowing?
Wind's blowing you south, but it's not particularly strong.
Okay.
While
was
this
just
is happening, I'm going to deal with that fire. I jump into the water, dimension myself back over to where that flame is, remembering the water that I dropped when I rescued. Was it Torek that I rescued? Just right over that burning section.
Okay, so Triss, you kind of swan dive into the water, only to reappear moments later above the ship's wheel, and with a colossal downpour of salt water. You succeed in washing away some of this fire, but it appears to be an oily substance, and the fire on the helm is now less intense, but you now have a series of smaller fires as this kind of burns top the water's surface. But sailors are starting to take up damage control equipment, and quite quickly people start to come, and these smaller fires are easier to contain. They're either beaten out or smothered quite quickly. But you can see that more of these projectiles are likely to come. Sorry, Guy, what were you saying?
I was thinking that was a really clever idea and wanted to commend on that more than anything. And then I'm just Tori looks a little lost and looks to Roland like, what do I do? Maybe I could construct something that can speed the ship up.
Whatever you can do, Tarek.
Does this ship have any cannons on it, or anchors, perhaps.
It has 2 forward anchors, yeah.
Cool. I think this will do just nice. Oh, I don't think we have 10 minutes, though, do we?
Probably not.
It'll
Based
feel
on the
like a
damage
long
done
10
so
minutes.
far.
Yeah, you're probably about 2 minutes into this engagement, and you're already. Well, the ship feels like it's a bit lower in the water.
Havel, do you want to give me that ring?
No. But Havel does have a good idea.
Havel has an idea.
That Havel can summon. What is it?
Flock of dolphins?
It could do one better than that, I believe. Where is it?
2 flocks of dolphins.
Colossal goose.
One plesiosaur. Plesiosaurus.
Okay.
You're
so
going to have it pull the boat.
I'm gonna have it push the boat. It was the idea. What size is it again? Oh, try. It's maybe smaller than I was thinking it was actually.
Plesiosaurus.
Yeah, I'm just googling.
Oh yeah,
D&D.
they look pretty small. When I just googled it.
Yeah, I'm seeing what the size is in large beast.
So yeah, large beast. It's not huge. Obviously, that's what 10 feet, something like that, isn't it? Let me just double check on that.
I can get a hunter shark, which is 20 feet long. Let's see what else I can conjure.
Whilst Havel is flicking through his bestiary, another blister bolt hits, this time lodging itself in the main mast. A worrying crack starts to run its way up the wood, but the mast holds.
I'd potentially try something very stupid.
Where is it?
I think I know what you're going to do. I know what you're going to do anyway.
Annoying when I can't find the fucking challenge rating of a fucking creature.
Okay, this might require like some sort of insight from Rulin before he does it, but based on the amount of force that the ballista bolts are applying when they're hitting the ship, does Rulin estimate that he could potentially catch one of them?
I knew that's
He's Rich, you and me had different ideas. I thought he was going to say he's going to run across the water and go and give them a thorough slapping or something.
he's going to jump off the blister like Mario on Bullet.
No, he's a monk. He can literally just sprint across the sea, give them a good fucking knockabout, and then run back.
Those ducks.
Could do that.
It's like,
And I
hey,
could
that guy's
dive
sorted
off.
it. Yeah.
I could dive off the cliff as well into the water and take like virtually no damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, really, you can see that these are substantial crossbow bolts. I mean, these are siege engines. They're making pretty short work of fairly heavy timber. But they're quite large. You could definitely see them coming from quite a distance. Who knows?
Torek, stand by. Oh.
The long way of saying you can certainly try.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Roland, you're concerning me.
I'm gonna
You've got
watch
that look
for
in
the
your
next.
eye that Havel does.
I'm gonna watch for the next bolt being fired, track it, and attempt to intercept it.
Fucking
Okay.
stupid.
Okay, so while the rest of the crew are going about trying to do what they can to patch up the damage, Rulin, you make your way aft and cast your eyes to the sky. It only takes about 20 seconds before you see the next glint kind of arcing down from what appears to be a reasonably high trajectory. And you can see that this is going to land roughly amidship somewhere.
So I want to kind of, I guess, like to detail it a little bit more. I'm not trying to just catch it outright, but rather like using the force of key and whatever to just redirect its path. Like, so I don't need to absorb the entire kind of force of the thing, but rather just enough to be able to redirect it away from the ship.
Sure.
That makes sense.
So yeah, you gauge that this is going to land roughly amidships. So you keep watching, and as it comes in, you take a kind of bit of a run up from the quarter deck, kind of leap above the main deck, and go for an intercept. So I'm gonna have to roll some damage for you, aren't I?
Yeah.
For you to see if you can deflect that then.
Yeah.
Wait,
Okay.
so how long is the ship again?
The ship you're on?
Yeah.
It's a fairly large ship. You know, you're probably looking about 100 feet, something like that. It is a big old.
If we had
merchant
three
vessel.
20-foot sharks.
You could tie the anchors to them, maybe.
Just have them pull.
Cool. So, Rulin, let's see how this goes for you.
Oh dear, the damage is going to be very telling here.
29 damage.
Okay. Right. Let's see if I can reduce that. So that's it's a D10. Let me roll one in the fucking tower instead. I've reduced that by 19.
Okay, so Rulin gonna take 10 damage there. So you take a running jump and try and kick the bolt as it's coming in to deflect it into the water, and you manage to deflect it. The bolt is sent flying off course and splashed into the water. However, you weren't accounting for the fact that there are a series of stabilizing fins on these bolts, one of which just tears along your foot like a knife, dealing you some damage there. But as you land, you know, this bolt splashes harmlessly into the ocean as you're left with a damaged shoe and a bleeding foot.
Okay.
My God!
Now, with that being a reaction, I guess we're not in.
You're not technically in combat now, so
No,
don't have to worry about that.
I could keep doing it. Okay, I'm going to shout to the others. I can do my best to keep these off us, but it's not going to work forever. We need to come up with a plan to get us out of here quickly. Havel, dinosaurs, sharks, whatever you need to do. Torek. Be Torek.
Right. That's right. Okay. How long's the boat? About 100 foot.
Roughly.
Okay. Right. I'm gonna take one side of the boat and say, I don't know, yeah, either towards the front or the back, and I'm gonna cast Hunger of Hadar, which is a 20-foot sphere of blackness and cold. It's opened like another gateway, so I'm basically just going to cover part of the boat, so they're going to struggle to shoot that area.
So you let me quickly bring that up on my end here. So you're casting that on the front or rear, first of all?
Let's go towards the front, and I'm going to cast it in the water between, like, just next to the boat, so that we won't get hit by it, but it's still there between us.
Right, okay. So yeah, Triss, you put down this 20-foot radius sphere of inky darkness. And it covers, you know, probably the first half of the ship. And as you're still, struggling to really turn away from this, what previously thought ruined fortress, you can see you're going to block a little bit of the ship. You're not sure how effective it will be, given that they're already landing clearly quite accurate shots. They've got their range. But you keep it up anyway.
Triss, can you move the darkness?
Where to?
If you put it in a space between us and them, then it'll obscure more of us.
Okay, I'm gonna move. I can hold on. Where was I looking? Oh, Gryffindor. Oh, I can cast it up to 150 foot away. So yeah, I'm gonna cast it 150 foot between us. Guessing I'm gonna have to just cast it all over again.
Yeah, it's not one you can move by the looks of it.
Nope, that's
So that
fine.
would be in midair between us and the fortress.
Okay, so Triss, you kind of listen to Torik's advice and recast this between you and the fortress. And you notice that the next couple of volleys land a little bit wide. One of them lands a bit long. Not being able to see their splash impacts is clearly having an effect on the enemy weapon operators. But Torik, up on the quarterdeck, you can see that the XO is dangling what appears to be a rope of sorts into the water, trailing out behind the ship. 6 knots, Captain, and we're slowing. Yes, I can see that XO. We're taking on water.
Yeah.
He kind of looks around a bit. Seems we're listing to port as well.
Oh god, that's not good.
It's a gentle list. You're probably about 2 degrees. Only really noticeable because it's a calm sea. But yeah, you can see and hear immediately from the tone of the captain's voice that this is enough to be a cause of concern.
Shoot, how do we get water out? If I had time, I could construct a pump, but that's not possible.
The ship has a pump, and you can see that 4 sailors are currently operating it quite maniacally. But it seems that it's not quite enough.
Ooh. I got an idea. The pump is going to be like really hard to operate, right? You're pumping water. It's no soft feed, right?
Yeah, this is a very physical task. You can see the chaps who are doing it are already, breaking a sweat, and they're hardened sailors. They're used to a fairly manual existence.
Cool. I'm going to use the spell Summon Construct. So, I call forth a construct. It manifests in an unoccupied space, blah, blah, blah. Essentially, I summon a creature ally that has a strength modifier of +4. I'm gonna... the lore behind this, I was thinking, because it doesn't really make sense for Torik to just snap his fingers and a humanoidic machine comes out of nowhere. So he's gonna step out of his exosuit and it just activates autonomously on its own.
That's quite cool. Just mans a pump. One of these chaps, a little confused, but steps aside and watches as this kind of armored automaton starts to tirelessly pump this contraption. It's clearly is bit of a morale boost to the others. You could see it, and they kind of redouble their efforts.
Yeah, and I'll point to the guys who are operating the pump and go, my exosuit is handling this. Make yourselves useful elsewhere.
So a couple of them look a little reluctant, step away, but you can see the exoskeleton is doing a good job. As a few of them step away, it seems to be less effective, so a couple of them stick around. But you free up 2 guys who grab what appear to be mallets and wooden pegs, and they head off below deck. But as you guys are discussing it, so Captain kind of calls out for you. Friends, this is not a good situation. I'm afraid that if we don't get ourselves out of range soon, we're going to be on the bottom before too long. Now, we have a lifeboat over there. Please take yourselves down and launch away. You've paid us good money, and on our honour, I'll not see my passengers come to harm.
The only way I would be willing to get on that boat is if we're going up there to slap those idiots around.
We can look after ourselves, Captain. And if we do end up going in the water, I'll be able to distribute rebreathers, at the very least. Although it would be a 2-kilometer swim, right?
No, you're only, well, by this point, probably about 600 meters away.
Well, towards the ruin.
Yeah, yes, towards
We'd
the
have-
ruin.
yeah,
It's a
that's
long
the
way
base,
to
wouldn't it?
the continent. So I appreciate your concern, but my fear is that even if I take us out of range, we're just going to be in a sinking tub further from shore. As far as withering, we can't sustain much more damage here.
Should have gone with the micro repair bots.
So, as you're saying this, the coxswain calls up, 5.5, Captain! It seems that the ship is having a harder time maintaining speed.
So what's the plan then? Are we abandoning, or are we trying to keep it afloat?
I don't know if there's anything that we can do to keep it afloat, but we could go and head towards shore and try and deal with them.
At least draw the fire, maybe, if we started heading towards them.
That's crazy.
Thinking. Tarek, I have an idea.
As you're planning, a blister bolt pierces the darkness and slams into the deck, but not before hitting the leg of a sailor. The poor man screams, chilly to the bone as he wails out. You could see immediately from a glance, Torek, he's going to have to lose that leg. That's clearly gone through the bone, but it's currently pinning him to the deck as well.
Damn.
The screams obviously draw attention. The captain has to call back. Back to your stations!
He can't get back to his station. I begin surgery.
Okay, Torek. So, it's not a pretty wound. The only consolation is this guy has clearly succumbed to shock. He's passed out on deck now, so at least the screaming has abated. Roll me a medicine check.
While this is going on, I'm still going to try and keep an eye out for more bolts and intercept if possible.
Oh, medicine. That's a 2. Oh no!
Oh god!
I butchered one of them.
Okay, Tarek, you look down. You assess the only possible way for this to work is going to have to be a battlefield amputation. The damage is too extensive. The leg can't be saved. So, with a singularity of mind, you block all other thoughts from your head. The man is already unconscious, but for good practice, you administer a very strong dose of a sedative come painkiller. Yeah. You select a series of sharp scalpels and a sturdy bone saw, and get to work. You take his clothes up to a point just above the bolt's entry wound, and you start incising till you get to the bone and go at it, sawing away. Everyone else, you're pretty thankful this guy's asleep, because this looks like a horrendous surgery you wouldn't really want to witness. But Tarek works away at it, quite swiftly sawing through the leg. Once you're done, Tarek, you quite adeptly apply a tourniquet to the wound. And as you kind of slap your hands, nod and step back to admire your handiwork, you've amputated the wrong leg.
Oh no. Oh no.
Guy. That's
No. Oh god.
Tell him he took another one. Unconscious.
Can't you have just killed him?
Well,
Did you have to take his other leg?
back to square one.
At least he knows what he's doing this time.
Oh no, that build up.
Oh, Tarek.
I'm crying.
Oh no, poor
I
fucking
bet he will
sailor.
be crying as well.
Just a bit.
Shit. Fucking shit. Oh no.
That's another
Another casualty.
great anecdote to add to the
growing
party's
list.
exploits.
Oh, glad the captain didn't see that.
Yes, thankfully the sailors' comrades are very much busy with their hands full to avoid the rest of them coming to an unfortunate fate. So it looks like, Tarek, you're the only one to have seen this particular instant of medical malpractice.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Greater restoration. Imagine it's like a massive spell, that isn't it?
I do not have access to that.
Oh, Yendorn had it, didn't he? Good old Yendorn.
You need more than that for a leg.
Oh no, you didn't have it, did he? He had the
I had the one you said
this, was it? Yeah, from the
temple.
From the temple. Yeah. I remember.
As I'm
Havel got his
aware.
arm back, or his hand.
I'm gonna be like, I'm not packing away an arm, am I? No. I hope this sailor has a name beginning with L, so he can be Legless Larry or something.
Okay, Tarek, you begin on the other leg. Roll me a medicine.
I mean, how bad could it be?
Does Tarek need an assistant? No.
Oh my god. You've said it, guy. That's why you.
Oh god, this is awful.
That's so serious?
Off goes his arm.
I mean, Ruland's not watching at this point. Ruland's just keeping an eye out for incoming ballista bolts.
Pretty sure he's just gonna die. Like at this point.
Yeah, Ruland, the sphere of darkness seems to be helping a little bit. The accuracy of these shots is notably reduced without being able to correct their fire. It seems that the quality of gunnery has dropped substantially. The only one that comes close to being a worry just passes over your head and through the sail before going out and landing ahead of the ship's bow. It leaves a small tear, but nothing that's going to render the sail inoperable. But yeah, Tarek, you try and save the guy, but by the end of his second amputation, just the blood loss is too much. He expires under your knife.
I've lost another one. I know I should have become a real doctor like Dad wanted. Yeah. I would offer to drag his corpse off of the bow of the deck, but I'm afraid with a -1 I've just rolled, I'm gonna be pulling him off, and someone just slips up in the blood and dies as well.
Someone might want to bury him properly as well, so we'll just keep him on the boat for now.
Burial at sea, that's kind of like a sailor's tradition, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Oh god.
I mean, I'm sure he would have liked to have been buried with both of his legs, but you know.
Yeah, Thoric, you toss the leg overboard, but you keep the body there.
You died as you lived, completely legless.
Okay, Torek, I've got a plan if you're done over there.
Yes, go for it.
Okay.
Enlarging, right?
Well, my thoughts was everyone jumps into the what do you call it? A slip?
Yeah, just a little launch that they can.
Yeah.
Essentially,
Everyone
like
jump.
a rowing boat.
Everyone jump in. Torek, remember that time that you made Titus, you know, twice his size?
Oh shit! I don't have it prepared. Oh fuck! I could enhance ability you to give you advantage on dex rolls.
That's not, probably won't help.
Fuck.
Okay, never mind.
But I guess we'd be a much harder to hit target than with the sloop anyway, wouldn't we?
We can at least try and draw the fire away from the main ship. I mean, the main ship's still under, you know, some kind of obscured effect from the Triss's spell. If we make our,
Oh, I do have something that might help you.
Okay.
Potion of flight. You wouldn't be very fast.
Might be faster to just row.
Another thud rocks the vessel. This time, the bolt appears to have hit pretty much at the waterline, just forward of the mast, port side.
Okay, let's go. Everyone into the launch boat.
Yeah, into the launch boat. Yeah.
You too, Labul. You might be able to help us up there.
Yep.
And I guess instead, what I could try to do, I don't know. This is a fucking weird point, but if Ruland stands at the rear of the boat in the water, could he push the boat through the water, like lending as much strength as he can, or is that kind of stretching? I guess the point of running on water is that the
you've got to be
monkey's so
fast. You can't really just become a workworkhorse and stand on it. Yeah,
but still have to keep up a pretty.
Just gonna have to row, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Right. We'll just start rowing then as fast as we can.
Okay. So, you guys,
if others can row, I guess Ruland will try and deflect any bolts that come near the launch.
Yeah, Braxton will definitely row.
Sure. Okay, so you guys.
Ooh, I'll get my new construct to row for me. He's coming with.
Okay, so the construct
Havel's
descends into
shark
the
might
launch
be
as well.
useful about now as well. I'm guessing we'd be able to be pushed by that at our size.
A small launch would have a much better chance of.
Oh yeah.
Shark
The sharks.
I think I can't order enough just to everyone ride out on a shark. That'd be cooler.
Or dolphins.
Oh, how big is a reef shark actually? Because I can order quite a few of those.
A reef shark's like what, 1.5 meters long?
Okay, in D&D 5th edition, no.
I don't think they
Reef shark.
Possible to be
I love
dragged
that
by a reef shark?
IVs just starts like automatically appear in my Google searches.
It is
the medium beast. So
yeah,
it's
10 feet long.
Same size as us. Could potentially pull us through the water. I mean, if you roped up a whole bunch of them to the front of the ship, to the front of the launch, it could, pull us.
I mean, it's just a lot of time calling them in and then getting them all roped up as well, though. Don't forget. Whereas,
how cool would it be?
So I say I can order like.
It'd be quite intimidating, if nothing else.
Yeah,
I mean, 10 foot. We could ride on the back of something 10 foot, couldn't we?
Yeah. Me and Torek definitely could.
No, yeah, you two be fine. Yeah, fuck it, why not? I'll just order a big old hunter shark.
Okay, so whilst everybody else is manning the launch and lowering it into the drink, Havel, you sum up a hunter shark and
Get it to
using
push.
a
Push
fair
or
bit
pull.
of rope, you managed to rig up some rudimentary harness for it.
Amazing.
So now securing the other end to the kind of front lantern post of the launch, you direct this thing to take you towards land, and it goes away at its full speed. However, you quickly notice that the rate of knots you're getting here is clearly more than this launch was designed for, and you start to get a few waves swamping over the lower wooden bows. So it slows a little bit, allowing you to kind of bail the water and carry on. Still, it's significantly faster than you could ever possibly hope to get by rowing. And as you get a distance from the ship, you look back and you can see by now the list is becoming more noticeable. The LaSalle's port flank is quite low in the water. You can see the captain appears to actually be turning her back towards the shore. It looks like he's just looking to get the thing probably onto or very near to land before she goes under. Chris's magical obstruction is still there though, so the splash of the blister bolts is still pretty wide. It looks like she's managed to save the ship from a fair bit of fire there. However, as you kind of start to feel a bit smug about that, Triss, you kind of hear the first splash nearest to you guys. Clearly, this is a first ranging shot, as it's probably about 30 feet wide of a mark. But afterwards, a few more start to come your way. Rulin, being up at the prow, you keep your eyes peeled for any. As you watch, you kind of negate the ones that aren't coming directly your way. But on about the 12th round, you see one that's looking like it's on course for your launch. So, I'm guessing you're probably going to try and deflect that.
Yep.
It's probably some damage. Oh, you didn't get lucky this time.
Oh, fuck.
6.
Oh, no.
I can reduce that by 24.
Okay, so that's 22. Still goes through. So without the benefit of a quarter deck to get a running jump, you're going to have to stand and get ready to palm slam this bolt. And again, these stabilizing fins just tear a chunk as the blade deflects past your arm. But the bolt veers off course, taking a small chunk of wood out of the one of the guardrails before splashing off to the starboard side of the vessel.
Alric, it's the.
Take a potion.
Okay, I'll take a potion then. What is it?
You should have asked that before you drank it.
Potion of boldness.
Rula, do you feel that raging hard on coming?
Makes me feel like I could stop a million ballista.
Yeah, flex ballista with that.
You're just slapping those ballista out the way with your rigid cock.
Jesus Christ. On a more serious note, what is it?
I'm gonna give you a healing one. So it's
Okay.
2d4 plus my int healing. So that'll be 11 healing.
Nice.
In addition, you gain a number of temporary hit points. 10 temporary hit points as those ingredients that I added in that make you feel good kick in. It's kind of like
Oh,
drinking a smoothie and thinking to yourself, this is really healthy when it's really 40% sugar.
sorry, remind me how many actual HP that was as well as attempts.
So that gets me
Oh,
up to
so-
73 HP plus 10 at temp.
Alrighty. So yeah, Rulin, you chug this, in your palm. You know, it stops to ache as much as it had been. Whether or not it's actually healing remains to be seen. Might need a bit of time, but you know, you kind of graciously drink the potion before tossing the vial into the sea and returning your eyes to the sky. By now, Havel's shark has pulled you guys, you know, probably about a third of the way from the stricken vessel to the coastline. The bastion itself is a little bit back from the coast. You've got like probably about 25 feet of beach before reaching the rocky cliff face underneath the walls. But as you draw closer, you notice the blister fire starts to get more accurate. So really, you see two rounds that are looking like they're going to connect. One looks like it might be headed towards the shark. The other looks like it's going to hit the boat.
Can I not ask the shark to make evasive maneuvers?
It's a large thing and probably not going to do it in time.
Hang on.
Are you asking for the shark to slalom ballista?
I was going to say, yeah, the shark's like went off to the side or something. Yeah, but if it's not going to have enough time.
His bolts are coming in quite fast. Rulin doesn't really have time to relay the exact trajectory.
Have
Okay.
a thought.
So, gonna go for another deflection.
Yep.
Shark or the boat? Which bolt would you prefer?
The boat. Sharks are expendable. Sorry, Havel.
No!
If the boat sinks, we're fucked. At least we can still row.
So 42 is the damage to be negated.
It's kind of cocked. Gonna reroll.
It's not really cocked. That would have landed on a 1 anyway.
It could have landed on a 9, you know.
Fine for just because it is
It's
a
a
little
1.
bit disputed.
Ah,
there you
fuck
are.
off.
The gods have spoken.
Reduce that by 19 then.
19, okay.
So, what was it, 42?
42 damage, yeah, so 23 goes through. Which, what's
Gets
that?
me down to 60.
60. So, yeah, another hard deflection, but the bolt that was headed towards Laboul ends up going into the sea instead.
How
Meanwhile,
far away? Oh, sorry, Karen.
sorry, I was just going to do the shark's damage as well, because
Shark.
how many HP does one of those sharks have, Havel?
Oh, let me find it one sec.
Is it less than 40?
Oh no.
I have the wrong shark up here.
What was it, reef shark?
No. This one's the hunter
Hunter
shark.
shark, wasn't it?
Oh, hunter shark.
I've got the page like in my history. It has a HP of where the fuck does it say? Because I cannot remember on here.
45, I'm seeing.
Oh, this page literally doesn't have it on for a change.
Yeah, 45 here. So this bolt just embeds itself just behind the dorsal fin, and the sea just immediately is red with blood. The shark kind of thrashes out a little bit. The endorphins clearly keeping it going more than anything else. It's kind of pulls you forward. Last burst of speed. Chris, you reckon you're probably just approaching being about 500 feet away from that beach.
I'm gonna hang tight. Can we get a visual on where they're shooting from now?
Yeah, so you can see that between these stone battlements appear to be kind of raised plinths where these weapons are mounted. Sure enough, they're quite sizable ballistae.
Luis's internet has died,
That's
so he'll join when he can, but obviously not sure when.
I'm gonna hang tight until we're 500 feet away from them. So let me know if anything happens between now and then I'm gonna dimension door with Braxton.
okay. Alrighty.
With
So
our powerhouse, it's rowing the boat.
Well, I'm relying on Ruland to get everybody else to shore.
Okay.
While we provide some kind of distraction.
Yep.
That's
Also have Torik's thing. Right?
Yeah, I guess it's automaton, whatever.
yeah, that's rowing away.
True.
Sure. So the you can tell that the shark's strength is waning here, but you're now close enough that if needs be, you can row the rest of the way. Not won't be too long, but it would put you under any undue strain. It appears that the blisters are having a little difficulty in kind of suppressing their aim. A few of these bolts are they're landing quite a distance behind you. So it takes a few more nail-biting minutes, but the shark pulls itself to a point where it can't actually go any further. It beaches itself, and you guys are able to kind of pile out of the boat into about waist-deep water. Just as the first of the crossbow bolts start to land around you. And I think that is where we're going to probably leave it tonight before we go on a full-on assault of the castle.
Well, beach.
That's a pretty good place to leave it. I'm excited to